Good evening, my fellow drops of shadow, and welcome to episode 28 of Into the Shadows. I've missed you. It's been a week. And, tonight, keeping with the theme that I've had for the past couple of episodes, I figured why not do a more traditional show? Back during the days when we did a little bit more of a deep dive into a particular subject here. Particular piece of media and see if we could break it down to its most interesting aspects and tropes. But first and foremost, let's cover a couple of things. As always, good evening, Daniel. I'm glad to see you. What we still need to do is help out our friend Kinko the Clown. He needs your help, so do what you can. Donate down below. You could also see his Teespring. Get yourself a Kinko Strong t shirt. Also, if you want the shadows to spread, it'd be really awesome if you share this to groups and timelines on Facebook. Spam your friends. Let them embrace the darkness just like I have. And I'm sure many of you have very willingly. Also, we have, by many accounts, several different places that we broadcast to. We are on Live 365, so check us out there. And we're also available at hellfireradio.com as well as on Instagram. Check us out there. We have the YouTube channel that I'm broadcasting to right now, as well as my own. And of course, we have the Twitch channel that we also broadcast to. So I'm happy to see so many folks making it out. Let's see who we currently have sitting here. We've got Daniel, we've got Elizabeth, and Daryl. Good to see you, as well as Beth. Very awesome. I'm so happy to see you all. So, tonight we're going to do a little bit of our deep dive. We're going to talk about some aspects and tropes of that recent award winning game that you've seen me play a few times here. It's known as Phasmophobia. So let's do a little bit of a deep dive. A lot of people ask, what is Phasmophobia? It may be a game or whatnot. Ah, my friend from New Zealand, James, I'm so glad to see you coming in too. You see, Phasmophobia is a fear of ghosts. Now, there are many reasons why that fear exists. It's mostly an aspect of the unknown for many of us. It is a fear of something being on the other side. At the end of death, that death is not the end, but perhaps an afterlife of pleasure or pain isn't looking forward to you too. Instead, you're left to wander the earth, interacting with people and just being too intangible to really interact with them. It's something that really gives a person a bit of the shivers and the willies. Ooh, yes. Hello, Gabby. I'm so happy to see you in. But the aspects of this ultimately come down to why does that frighten us? Mortality, in and of itself, is that anxiety of not being sure where you'll end up once your life ends. It's rather unsettling for so many. We feel like our time has been cut too short. We had so much more to do. Now we're left wandering a world, but we can't even interact. That's why many people have that fear of death, that uncertainty. Perhaps you'll see something that you normally would not see. Hello, Tyler. I'm so glad to see you. Well, I'm so sorry to hear that you were incarcerated in Facebook Penitentiary. But you know what? Repeat offenders. You must be careful with that, son. So, phasmophobia, the actual fear of ghosts itself, whether or not we're afraid of something that we don't understand possibly interacting with us, it gives us the idea that perhaps what we're interacting with is something that we do know, and at the same time has seen this and been around us this whole time. It's a little unsettling. For many of us guys, we wonder how many of our great grandparents have watched us yank one off in the shadows. Yes, they are watching. And is that what we have to look forward to as well? But that also indicates that there could be things other than those that you don't know. That fear of security ultimately is what fuels that fear. If it's been here this whole time, why am I only seeing it now? And if it's been here this whole time, what else has it seen? It can really drive a person's anxiety right through the roof. Hello, Ronald. I'm so glad to see you. That anxiety triggers adrenal responses, our fear and fight and flight. That aspect of the fear that's inspired by such a phobia as phasmophobia. And the key aspect of it. Hello, Chris. I'm so glad to see you here. Thank you for being. The other aspect that can be just as twisted, just as scary. Daniel, I'm not trying to be a vampire. I actually am one. But I'm so glad that at least you acknowledged my aesthetic. Hmm. I got so excited talking about spirits that I lit my cigarette and. Oh. So, a game recently came out. Fairly. Hmm. I say a few months back. It's released on the computer through the game service known as Steam to allow PC players to conduct paranormal investigations in various locations and to identify the various different types of spirits that are inhabiting, with also possibility of becoming a victim of said spirit, wraith, ghost, whatever sort of type there may be. So there's an aspect of danger there. Now, what is it that this particular media does to inspire fear in its players? Because it's not just you alone, although you could do it alone. You could even do it in virtual reality through the various headsets that are available. And on top of that, it increases the immersion just a little bit to really throw you unsettled. So, why does it scare us so much? What is it that frightens us so much about that? Well, there is the one thing that many of my longtime viewers have realized and remembered whenever it comes to fear. And it's that lovely R word. And that R word is relatability. The fact that it is something that we can't necessarily say we haven't encountered before. Well, Gabby, then, I hope you're around when the sun rises. And when you do, I hope that you rise intact and refreshed. So, it's relatability, something that we may have experienced before. And this is a key aspect with most fear media out there, be it movies, be it games, be it books, be it old passed down stories by word of mouth, stories that are on the web as well. Is if it's something that you can say might actually happen to you, the relatability is where the source of absolute fear is. Daniel, to become a vampire, you merely have to see if you are or not, if you are of the material for it. And there are various different types of ways, and I'll be happy to dig into that. Possibly either offline or possibly the subject of a show at another point, because some people are terrified of my kind. So, to continue, you see, the true potency of fear can be summed up in a good example, and I've used this metaphor before. When you go to a film at the cinema and you see the gigantic lizard stomping upon buildings and cities, most people, when the credits roll and they leave the theater, they're not expecting to see a 700-foot monster stomping on the buildings. That's near absolute ridiculousness, if you think about it. But then you have the cinema that shows a film of people within a home with spirits that initially identify itself by creaks in the floorboards and shadows upon the walls, objects moving, such innocuous things, things that we ourselves take for granted and in many ways explain away whenever there's a lapse in memory. Something that you, when you leave the film and you go home and you hear the floorboards crack and you can't find your keys after you put them down in a certain place. Now your brain begins to relate to something that could have happened. That feeling of being watched. Yes, the relatability is there. James, it is very much said that the place that horned creatures are is merely the place with the absence of reason and the reign of chaos. Outside of religious terminology, that in of itself is its best descriptor. So, if you'll forgive me. Hello, William. So, as it is with most forms of haunting, Azazel. So glad to see a fellow of the paranormal arts here within my chat. I was speaking, Azazel, about the nature of fear itself and its potency to relatability, in particular within the context of the game that is known as Phasmophobia, and how potent it can be, and why it's so potent, its effectiveness in its portrayals and its tropes. You see, when objects move on their own, immediately people perceive ghost, it's a poltergeist, something along those lines. Yet sometimes it's something as simple as a sloped floor, where a 16-wheeler drove down the street earlier, caused sympathetic vibrations. It happens. It's explicable. It's just many people don't see it that way. Now, if you were to take a look at lights suddenly going on and off, I'm so glad to see you, Joe. I'm hoping that the cold up there isn't too chilly. I hope it is not a cold day in Nome, as it were. But in every single aspect, this game seriously plays upon several of the different varying tropes and examples and things that we can relate to, while at the same time playing upon stereotypes and pre established, one might say, concepts. For instance, not remembering leaving a light on, and then when re entering a certain space within the home and seeing the light on, you're thinking to yourself, something else turned that on, and I sure as hell did not. Completely and totally regretting to remember that you left it on. Well, Daniel, believe it or not, there is an investigator here that might be able to get in touch with you if you wish to. Contact the radio station, and I'm sure that the individual will be able to touch base with you, possibly get some further input. But to continue, objects move in the game, naturally. Lights turn on their own in game, of course. You have to play upon those tropes because they are things that happen to us all the time. But then you take a look at things like temperatures suddenly dropping. I'm talking about going from where we were in the summer in the 80s all the way down to near nil. We're talking ZERO or ZERO for my American friends, which I am, but still, or am I? We'll never know. But you also have the aspect of sounds, giggles and laughter everywhere. Angelina, I'm so glad to see you coming in. We have a London correspondent. Not only do we have a gentleman from New Zealand, we have our friend from Alaska, and now my friend from England. I'm hoping that things are not too bad over there on the merry British Isles. Ah, and that's a place in and of itself, rich and rife with ghost stories and phasmophobia in and of itself along the world. So, you have the varying different types of tropes that are portrayed. Drops in temperature. Ooh, chills up one's spine. But then you also have fluctuations within the electromagnetic spectrum. Such variances in wavelengths and such of electricity. The house generator it of itself creating certain effects due to faulty wiring. It is a rather troublesome effect. Some say that even beta waves that come through due to such magnetic waves can create sorts of feelings of paranoia to the mind, as well as create visual hallucinations, which at times can happen from something as simple as not getting enough sleep. You have every single possible trope portrayed within this particular visual medium. I find it to be rather enjoyable, in particular with a group of friends. Doors that open on their own merely because the jambs were too greased, or slight swelling of the wood along the door frame can cause a door to suddenly be too difficult to open or too difficult to remain closed. It does happen. It is possible. However, rather confusing to those that just walked out of a scary ghost film or played a ghost game. But, of course, such portrayals in various different types of media have the one thing that real life does not offer us: immortality. Because do we ever truly die in a film? Do we suddenly shuffle loose of the mortal coil within a game? No, we're still here in our seats, be it enjoying some nice, wonderful popcorn from the theater and milk duds, to being able to hit continue on a gaming controller or move one's mouse track over to click on continue when shuffle loose due to the antagonist of this particular type of medium and various different types of ghosts in their various different types of media. Now, I must commend the individual that created this game. It is just one man working on it. He doesn't have a team, he doesn't have a studio. He's doing it 100% on its own, and it made Best Debut Game of the Year at the latest Video Game Awards. Bravo. Because it certainly earned it. You see, in order to really make an impact, you have to delve into the relatability of the game, truly make it a wonderful masterpiece that is now ooh, continually evolving. You know, in reality, I sense them myself as well. However, for right now, we're speaking of the fictional, based off of the reality, if you believe in such a thing. The gentleman that did this did his homework. He delved into local legends of particular types of spirits. You have a Yurye, you have an Oni, you have a Revenant. You have a poltergeist, you have a spirit, you have a phantom, you have a demon, and a poltergeist, as well as a mare. Ooh. You see, the various different types all interact in different ways, responds to various different types of stimuli, as well as make their presence known in a certain way. It's rather unsettling. Ooh. I wish I could show you some of the various different types of media that this game has come out with. See, this is how I know I'm comfortable with you. I'm yawning. Hmm. It has been a very long few days. But if you have any questions, comments, concerns, complaints, and or cash payments, I do have merch. Which currently right now I am shilling that psychopath known as the Rant Commander's merchandise, but I get a cut. So if you can, please buy his shit. It's rather adorable, I will say. Stickers, hoodies, t-shirts, hats, mugs. It's really good. I'd highly recommend that you do so. So I'm sure there are plenty out there that currently have any questions, comments, concerns, complaints, cash payments, as well as sharing this out. Mhm. But it is possible, James, that you are intuitive. Yes, Chris, you kind of hit it right upon the head. It's no, I'm going to highlight that comment because I feel that that is a very interesting topic we can delve into. That yes, individuals that have a form of intuition or empathy, or that capability as such, are known to be sensitive to spirits. I myself, I can hear them. I can hear them and I can sense them. Not to mention the fact that I currently reside above a space where there is one. You know, I think it's that time. Yes, it's that time where I get to actually engage with you folks a little bit more as me, as opposed to the Baron Voltage character. Just give me one moment here. I'm going to shed some light on the subject. Because we've got some stuff we should talk about. So give me but one moment. Yes. So, I feel so much like that chap, Mr. Rogers. Oh my, yes. Oh, I don't need that anymore. Oh, for heaven's sake. There we go. All right. So I've been told, Chris. So I've been told. For those of you that are new to the show, usually the first half hour I'm in character and we're covering whatever the sort of topic it is. And then the last half hour, or last 20 minutes of the show, I want to talk to you guys one on one, be able to actually interact with you as me. I do this with all my shows, just so that this way you realize that I give a fuck about each and every single one of you. Not only that, but I also want you to know that I do everything in my power to make sure that you're all doing okay. We're in trying times right now, and it's good to, like, support each other, help each other out. So, yeah, spirits spirits yammer. They make themselves known. Seen a few. I live above one. Kind of sucks, but oh yeah, that's right. You're out in New Zealand, bud. You guys got your whole spiel. Guidance can be granted by such entities, yes. You see, what I liked about Phasmophobia is it scared the shit out of me because it made me relive some of the things that have scared the shit out of me. It really plays into that fear. It's something that I don't think I've ever come across anybody in my life that has not had some sort of experience that could easily be attributed to the paranormal and could not be explained away. Oh, you're a southern boy. Well, South is loaded with spirits. As a matter of fact, I don't know if Azazel is still in the chat. He's a demon. He is a paranormal investigator. Chris, you seem to have some knowledge on some stuff. Could maybe you identify the following? My first encounter with an entity. I'd be happy to talk about it with you, either here or online. You mean Native American, James? Be careful. Well, I live deep in that particular aspect of the territory of New Jersey. Named Lenape, with the tribes that are out here. Goodness. Many haven't reached the age of enlightenment, Chris. They learn. All right. Try this one on for size. When I was about 9, maybe 10, uh, it was a late night thunderstorm. I think I've told the story a few times to a couple of folks here before. Um, it was a late night thunderstorm, and I woke up. It was late at night. We're talking like middle of the night. And the way the apartment was, and I was living in Jersey City at the time, is when you walk out of bedroom and you walk around the hall, you got to walk down the hall like around the corner to go hit the head or bathroom. My old military's coming through. And as you're turning the corner, you could see my parents' bedroom. Door was open. So you could see my parents both in bed, asleep. Especially with the way the light pollution in Jersey is. Even in the dead of night, it still looks like there's still light coming in. So I go, and I didn't bother to look at my parents' bedroom when I was passing by because I figured it's a late night. What the fuck? And I stop when I go into the bathroom and I see a figure there, and I figure it's just my dad. So, okay, turn around. Figure, let me go into my room and go wait until I hear a freaking toilet flush. So I turn around and I start walking back to my bedroom. And as I'm walking into my bedroom, instinctively, as I've done a million times before, I look to my parents' bedroom and I stop dead in my tracks. Because then I realize that both my parents are in bed. The only other person that's in the apartment is my little sister that I sure as fuck could not mistake for the 6 or 7 foot figure in the bathroom. So, out of curiosity, I turn in confusion and say to myself, maybe did I just see something? Turn around and I walk back to the bathroom and the figure is still there. I don't know if it's childhood immortality or invulnerability that made me say something, but I looked at it. And when I looked at it, I actually said, "Who are you?" Its eyes flashed yellow, and I got thrown back about a good 4 feet so hard that I dented the drywall behind me. 9-year-old me, right into the drywall. And I heard laughter. My stepfather sprung from the bed because he heard the impact. He saw me on the ground, asked me what happened. I pointed in the bathroom. He looked in there and he thought there was an intruder. We lived on the 3rd story of an apartment, 3 bedroom apartment, 3 apartment bedroom. Okay. Rushed to the one door of the house and saw that all the locks were locked because it only locked from the inside. Rushed towards the balcony to see if anybody was there. Nobody was there. I'm there on the fucking ground and I'm shaking. Ever since then, I could hear and I could see. Now, my particular spiritual beliefs as they are, I'm a I'm not a practitioner. That's how does one put it when one actually knows voodoo and knows what to do with it? I like West African, you know, I leave my offerings to both uh Shango and Aligua. So speaking of which, I gotta freaking throw down another offering to Shango. And yeah, yes it is, Daniel. Oh, but yeah, it's since then, you know. And the funny thing is, some of you that have been watching me since the first or second broadcast of this show, I think it was maybe my third episode of Into the Shadows, something was fucking with me in the room and it was fucking with the broadcast too. People saw it. Things were moving behind me, and I was the only one in the room. I think I was doing a review of The Exorcist and its different aspects and fear tropes. And next thing I freaking knew, shit was moving here. My mother told me I was cursed. She was a practitioner of, she was a priestess of Yamaya, if that kind of narrows things down. Since then I hear things, since then I see things, feel things, etc., etc. It's a thing. Hey, Quack Quack. I know it's a little early for me to normally do so, but I've had a rough week. Is there anything you want me to plug? Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, I know they know, Chris. I can't step into a cemetery without getting a massive migraine. I can't. I legit walk into a cemetery with a bottle of Excedrin migraine. I have to pop like 5 or 6 of the freaking 800 milligram suckers just to be able to walk into a cemetery and not pass out in pain. And it's just cemeteries. It's the weirdest fucking thing. Whenever I start to feel my head start to throb, I fucking know something's around. You guys are hearing my Jersey accent come out with this. That's how you know I'm being honest. Um, we've got some kick-ass shit. Uh, coming up here at Hellfire. Yep, exactly, Takar. You got a big thing coming down. Yeah, for me, ears ring, my eyeballs begin to throb. I start to feel nauseous, and if they're not ringing, what I hear, legitimately, what I hear, think radio static where you can kind of hear something, but you can't quite put your finger on it. That's what I'm feeling most of the time whenever something's around. And the stronger it is, the clearer the words. My mother once joked with me. She said that, what the way the way that my luck is, I'm cursed. I've been struck by lightning, which means I've been smote. How many people do you know have been smote and they're still walking? I've survived brain cancer, you know, been hit by cars, fallen off of buildings, two attempts by Al Qaeda, a heart attack. Still here. These days, I kind of joke with a lot of the Hellfire staff. I flat out tell them, I'm like, look, every single time whenever my name appears on one of Death's lists, he actually crumbles up the paper, throws it at the Sisters of Fate, and said, stop punking me. He's not dying. Yeah, because of the lightning strike, I can't feel these two fingers, this entire side of my hand, all the way up to just past my elbow, that part of my arm. It's because my ulnar nerve is fried from the strike. It happened when I was 16. Not to mention the fact that I was born with a couple of lovely little defects. For one, that a lot of people don't normally see, but a few of you know about. I was born with a degenerative disease with my teeth. I can't produce enamel, so I've got nothing but bone. They're always cracking, falling apart, and are in constant pain. Um, the other one is, oh yeah, it's nerve damage. The other one is I was born with hyper enlarged vocal cords. So I basically sounded like, I don't know how many people that like troll YouTube that much. I had a voice like corpse husband when I was 5. What you're hearing now is not my actual voice, it's my presentation voice. I'm too self-conscious about my actual voice. It sounds so deep that it almost sounds fake. But it sucks because when it does come out, I feel relaxed. And you could usually tell that it's coming out because some of my syllables actually start to drop and get a much deeper timbre to them because it's getting harder and harder for me to tense my chords enough for people to understand me. It's a thing. Ooh. But yeah, like I said, there's so many different things out there that, so many people experience, and that's what the game really plays upon. It plays upon an individual's, you know, life experiences and relatability. I know I say that a lot on this particular show whenever I'm talking about fear and tropes, but relatability in any aspect is always a very strong component to fear. It's what really triggers us to experience it from an outside medium as an entertainment aspect because we can relate to it, because it puts us in the actual thing mentally as a psychological bond. So when you're watching a scary movie and it's something that you could actually say that could happen to me, or it did happen, unfortunately, to somebody you knew, boom, guess what? Now you're putting yourself in there, you're able to relate it, and your brain immediately freaking responds to it. Yes, we've got a number of other individuals here at Hellfire. Azazel that popped in earlier, he has a kick-ass show, Paranormal Talk. Great freaking show. You've got She Headbangs with Leah. Very awesome show there. You've got Shit Show Theater that actually happens on. It happens during the week. It's one of the awesome shows. I wish I could always. Freaking cancer. Okay. Well, I'm glad to hear it, Chris. I come on every single Friday at 12:30 a.m. Eastern Standard. And I also have a show on Wednesday nights. There's a guy that's named the Rant Commander. He picks a topic and he rants for about a good hour about whatever the fuck it is. Um, and that's his merch down below. That's his link. Um, you've also got Scoops of Mischief doing one that's called the Friday Fuckery Show. You've got Justice with Greetings from Disgraceland, and their show that actually comes on before mine. You've got Moist the Clown that has a kick-ass show that comes on. Let's Get Moist. I'm trying to think. What other shows do we got, Takara? I'm blanking here, unfortunately. It's one of those things. You know, Big Will has his show that usually would come on. With some kick-ass interviews. There's a sports show that happens on Sundays and Mondays, I believe. I'm so happy to hear that, Chris, and I'm glad to see that, I've added yet another drop of shadow to be into the shadows. That's the name of the show. I do occasional Inked and Chattered. Yes, thank you. For some reason that was blanking. You got Craft Beer Corner on Saturday, and that's every other Saturday. I already mentioned Moist Takara. Craft Beer Corner, believe it or not, I seem to be a regular on there. So if you guys ever want to see me when I'm drunk, there you go. That is at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. Highly suggest you check that out here. Well, I'm not quite done yet, Chris, but you want to know what, though? I'm glad that you're popping on. Death Wall on YouTube. It's the music video show. Thank you, Takara, for reminding me of that one, too. You see, Takara is one of our talent relations folks, so she knows. Oh, good God. You want to know what? It's funny. I only said that one word once tonight, and I'm not saying it again. Because Defiance pops up like saying Beetlejuice 3 times. If you say one particular word. Yes, that's Show What Novella. Caffeine. You see, I have a heater monster. It just turned on. Yeah, you're also like me. I'm the executive. I'm I'm the executive lead of human resources. That's the best way to put it. Yeah, one of my partners actually put a pair of googly eyes on the window frame above where the heater is. So now she calls it the heater monster. Yes, actually, isn't telenovela? Otherwise, it's also known as a short story that is broken up amongst several different books or issues to be released periodically as a novella. Most of Stephen King's earlier works were released as novellas. Oh, well, thank you. And on top of that, something to consider, I have a TikTok that you can find me on. And I'll be promoting the show there as well. Or the station, rather, not just the show, dear gods, no. Yeah, it's that time. I've gotten maybe 4 hours of sleep in the last 3 days. But yeah, I'll be promoting the station there as well. So seriously, if you want, check me out there as well. As well as my personal YouTube page. Just look up Baron Voltage. There I am. And we've got reviews on the website. We also have an e-zine. Check that one out too. We've got merch from the website as well if you want to help support several of the other DJs here at Hellfire Radio. And you want to know what? The Hellfire Radio, as a matter of fact, here's a big piece of the merch right here. I find it to be awesome. I figure you'd like it. I like it. I think it's great. Takara is also one of the lead salespeople when it comes to the station. So they are. We've got the Dorkening, yes. Yes, we do. We also are in league with several outside talents that feature a lot of their content. So check them out too. We're available at the station. I've even got a tapestry of this for the Killing Wall, which is my ranch show. Yeah, I'm the rank commander. It's going to be kind of hard to mistake me. Yeah, I'll even bring them out for a split second. All right, troops. I'm glad to see you all reporting in. Now, no, oh yeah, what? Up in smoke. Is that is that the name of the show? I'll have to take a look. We got 5th and 24, I think, is the sports show that happens on Sundays. Or is that Mondays? Scoops is gonna fucking murder me. Hey, no problem, dude. I mean, they're available on the Hellfire Radio website. Check out their merch. We have, yep. Ooh. Yeah, I have a tendency to be the. Here's the irony, Takara. Tell me if this isn't ironic. It's something I thought about. I am one of the only non-clown individuals with the station, but I am one of the only ones that's comedy with the station. About 99.999 to 999% of the show covers horrorcore as well as metal, rap, R&B, rap, you name it. Several different aspects and genres of music. I'm like the comic relief. Am I the comic relief, Takara? Oh, well, thank you. Oh, I'm a jester, without question. There we go. Feeling a little bit more relaxed. Yeah, I know we used to. We don't anymore. I'm the last. I'm the last of the Mohicans. Well, me and Leah. Nah, I kind of like having the facial hair. I think I'm one of the few people in the station that the station owners will allow to have facial hair because one, facial hair fucks with makeup. Two, ultimately, I look like I'm 19 when my face is shaved clean. Although I do kind of gotta thin this sucker out because the gray is starting to show, and that makes me super self conscious. Do some of my old school voice work. Diego looks like Fred Durst. Diego don't count. You want to see me dye my shit? You want? I'll make a deal with you. Okay. I will allow Scoops and Mischief to clownify me the next time that I see them in person. I will go full transformation. Diego is a limp biscuit. One of the things I want to do, I want to roast every single executive at Hellfire. I told them I want to do it. They think it's pretty fucking hilarious that I want to do it. I think it'd be pretty damn cool. They don't know who they fucking with. You see, Takara, you wanna know how they fucked up with that though? The idea of letting me roast them when the time comes? I have a show every week where I'm roasting something. I have the most practice. For a while, I had that show 5 nights a week. 9 episodes every 2 weeks. The only reason why the Killing Wall is back to once a week is just so to make sure that the freaking numbers can at least start to come back up. And that's another thing, folks. One of the reasons why I one of the reasons why I'm only down to 2 shows a week is because we need to start getting the shares and engagement up. So it's really important that you share this out. Share this out to groups, to timelines, you name it. This show in particular, share it out to horror groups. Really delve into there. For the Rant Commander show, which is the Killing Wall, share that out to comedy groups if you can. Spam the hell out of them. It's the only way to really kick up the numbers because the higher the numbers, the more likelihood that they want me to have the show more often. Well, it's a shame that you only just came in tonight because I started going to the 2 show a week schedule like maybe about what 2 weeks ago. Takara, was it? I started doing it. It was just before Thanksgiving. I'll keep it in mind, Daniel. No, I haven't had the opportunity, Takara. I've only been around you guys for what, a year? You know what? I think it's that time of the evening where I start to close things up. But I am so glad to see you all in here. And you know what? You can easily reach out to me this way. As you can see, that's my direct email down there. That's my donation link if you actually want to do that. But I also, you can message me directly, not just through the email, but also to my Facebook Messenger. Just look up Baron Voltage. I'm there. You know, hit me up. I'm happy to take requests as far as like show topics, or if you just want to shoot the shit. I'm one of the most accessible people on the planet. Seriously. I don't have a social life. Although TikTok is really keeping me somewhat sane lately. Yes. Our goal is to get to 30,000 likes uh, for the page. So we're not far off, but we want to go over the top. We want to get there by the end of the year. So please give us 30K. Best way to do that. Spam the hell out of Hellfire Radio. Spam it to all your groups, your friends, your timeline, everywhere. You do, Takara. Awesome. Vampire Clan won't work. It's two different. Oh, God. Mischief does have a TikTok, too. That's right. Well, the funniest damn things I ever saw was what Mischief did on their TikTok. Yes. Ugh. Hey, Takara, you can tell me this. In the last 3 days, I've gone from 0 followers to 160. Is that fast growth? I wouldn't know. I'm kinda new. Hello, Paula. I'm so glad to see you reporting in just before I'm about to hop off. But thank you for coming on. A leprechaun clown, that's what I am. What necessarily would they do? Would they honk around with their little horns? Oh god, I love you guys. I don't know. Over the last 3 days, I've accumulated 160 followers. Kinda threw me off. I gotta let the air out of my ego a little bit because I don't have much of one. But I think that's the end of the night, folks. Thank you so much, Chris. That I really appreciate that. Thank you. Oh, vampiric heart. All right, folks. I'm doing good, Sheena. I'm so glad to see you coming in too. Just about getting ready to hop off though. But you want to know what? If anybody wants to actually watch the past broadcasts, they're available on the Hellfire Radio YouTube page as well as the Hellfire Radio Facebook page. And I will definitely see you. I'll be on tomorrow night. So if you guys want to actually see me get sloshed, perfect way to do it. Every other Saturday is craft beer corner, and I'm on it. So you want to know what, Chris? Fire me a friend request if you want to like talk a little bit more offline on the spiritual matters. In the meantime, folks, have a very pleasant evening. Thank you very much. And I wouldn't be me if I didn't say this the way that the Baron says it best. Good night. Sleep tight. And if you ask nicely, maybe I'll bite. Have a good night. Sweet dreams.